It's the most consumed meat in the world, and it's gaining in popularity in the U.S. Today we're going to talk about meat goats. We have Eric Finch from the Iowa Meat Goat Association. Eric, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now tell me, how did you get started out in the goat business?
We got started purely by accident. We had a large sheep flock, got one goat to nurse some orphan lambs, and it kind of grew from there. And now our goat flock is over 200 head, and our sheep flock is almost non-existent.
What is the demand for goat meat?
The demand right now is driven primarily by the ethnic populations that are coming into the U.S. and settling in different regions.
Do they come to your farm requesting goat meat then?
Yes. My operation, we sell directly to the consumer. They'll come out, pick out a goat, and then we'll deliver it to the locker and have it cut the way they want it.
How does goat meat compare to beef or pork?
It is a healthier meat than beef, pork, and chicken.
Right.
But in consistency, it's a darker meat similar to beef.
Now tell me a little, if I wanted to get started raising some meat goats, how would I do that?
My recommendation is start small. Don't go out buy 100 head.
Yeah.
And buy from a reputable breeder, somebody that's going to stand behind the goats and that's going to help you along the way if you've never had goats before.
What type of facilities do you need?
Facilities, we need something to shelter them from the wind, the rain, the snow. And if you're going to kid in winter months when it's very cold outside, you need a good shelter for those kids so they don't get frostbite.
All right. Well, speaking of the kids, tell me about the breeding pattern.
Boer goats are typically going to breed from July through about January, February. So you can time your breedings according to when you want to kid. If you don't have the facilities to kid in the winter, you'll kid in the spring or summer. And then also you can, set your kidding patterns to certain ethnic holidays and when the demand may be higher.
And when you're kidding, do you keep them in the barn for a while,
Yes.
or instead of just throwing them right
out? On our operation, we keep the kids in the barn, and actually the kids never see pasture because I want them to gain quickly and get to market quickly.
Yeah. And tell me about the feeding. I see they're eating some alfalfa here.
Yes. Typically in the summer, they're out on pasture. They'll just graze on brush, grass, whatever's out there. Come fall, we bring them in, start haying them, and then when they're milking, we'll give them a little more grain, a little more energy, protein.
The kids that you're feeding to market weight, how long does that take?
Typically, those kids can be to market weight anywhere between 3 and 5 months, depending on your feeding program and your genetics.
So if you pour the grain to them,
if you pour the grain to them, yeah, I can have most of my kids are market weight in around 3 to 4 months.
What do you do with your health-wise with your goats?
Health-wise, they're all vaccinated as kids twice, and then a booster yearly for overeating tetanus. They can also be vaccinated for pneumonia if that's a problem. Caseous lymphadenitis if you got a problem with that.
What about the hoof trimming?
Hoof trimming is the number one problem. That's where they're going to differ quite a bit from sheep. We don't have to shear them, but we have to trim hooves. Their hooves are a little harder, so we have to use a little stronger type of hoof trimmer. I like to use these. They got a metal handle, a little stronger.
All right. How often do you do that?
We trim hooves twice a year.
Twice a year.
Try to.
Thanks for sharing that information, Eric.
You're welcome.
Sounds like meat goats can be a profitable venture and an excellent diversification for your acreage.